A year ago, Star Wars Outlaws did something worse than launch broken. It wasted your time. Forced stealth, instant failure states, systems that fought the fantasy instead of serving it. Most players bounced, and that was the correct decision. But after a year of updates, rewrites, and quiet course correction, this game is now doing something dangerous. It makes you think you might have been wrong to skip it. And that sounds like a compliment, but it hides a bigger question. Because one major part of this game is still actively working against your time, and whether that ruins everything depends on how you actually play games. I will get to that, but first you need to understand what's actually changed. I have spent over 30 hours with Star Wars Outlaws, at launch, after patches, and again after every major update that's promised improvement. I'm not here to defend Ubisoft, and I'm not here to rewrite history. This is a retrospective for people who bounced early or never showed up at all. By the end of this video, you will know 3 things: what the game fixed, what still quietly wastes your time, and the one condition where this game finally becomes worth playing. And that last part is not what most people think. At launch, Outlaws collapsed under forced design. Stealth was not an option, it was a rule. One mistake meant instant failure. No recovery, no improvisation. That design is mostly gone now. Stealth is flexible, you can recover from detection, you can pivot mid-mission instead of restarting it. Combat also received meaningful changes. Weapon handling is smoother, heavy weapons no longer lock you out of your core kit, and enemy weak points reward intention without demanding perfection. On paper, this sounds like a full turnaround, and for the first few hours, it feels like one. But there is a catch, because whilst missions improved, traversal did not. Vehicle handling is still weak, speed of control lacks precision, and this quietly affects how you often want to engage with the world. And that matters more than it sounds, and it feeds directly into how fun the game actually is. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Star Wars Outlaws is now fun. Not exceptional, not groundbreaking, but fun enough that sessions end with curiosity instead of frustration. You want to see what happens next. You want to push the story forward. You're no longer fighting the systems. For a Star Wars fan, that's enough. But this fun is fragile. It works because friction was removed, not because systems were elevated. And that means the game relies heavily on pacing to sustain momentum, which brings us to the part most reviews gloss over: progression. Because this is where the game either respects your time completely or quietly bleeds it. Mission design is now clean. Every mission moves the story forward. Short sessions feel productive. That is a huge win for busy players. Side content exists, but is mostly tied to progression systems, skills, upgrades, faction relationships. You can ignore most of it and still feel momentum, and that's rare, but the world itself still tempts you into downtime. Travel, movement, vehicle sections that slow everything down. This creates a strange contradiction. The game respects your time narratively, but not always mechanically. And whether that bothers you depends on how often life interrupts your sessions, which is where this game quietly redeems itself again. If you care about games that respect your limited time, subscribe. That is the entire point of this channel. Interrupts happen. This game is finally built for that reality. Checkpointing is frequent and fair. Resume clarity is excellent. Console suspend works reliably. You never fear losing progress. Solo play is also uncompromised. No system collapses without other players. No content feels half finished alone, and this feels like a single player game. Which leads to the moment that convinced me something had fundamentally changed. I was infiltrating a factory, playing it slow, stealthy, careful even. Halfway through, I stopped caring. I stepped out of cover and caused absolute chaos, and the mission adapted. No failure state, no reload, just consequences. That moment did not exist at launch, and once you experience it, you realise how much freedom defines this new version. So here's the final question. With all of that fixed, why am I still hesitant to recommend it outright? At full price, I still do not recommend Star Wars Outlaws. There's no urgency, no novelty premium, no reason to rush, but this game goes on sale constantly, often at 40 to 50% off, and at that price, everything changes, because what you get is a flexible, story-driven, single-player action-adventure that finally respects how you play games. That category is thinner than it should be right now, and at a discount, this game fills a gap more than it competes for attention. So looking at my dad priority score, the hook factor gets a 4 out of 5 stars. A Star Wars story without lightsabers still carries intrigue. Fun per minute is a 4 out of 5 stars. The game is now fun and it pulls you back. The 1 hour test gets a 5 out of 5 stars because sessions consistently move the story forward. Interrupt rating is also a 5 out of 5 stars. There's excellent checkpointing and suspend support. Solo satisfaction is also a 5 out of 5 stars because this is designed to stand alone, no multiplayer in sight. And value for money, 3 stars at full price, but 5 out of 5 stars at 40% off or more. So overall, this game solidly now passes my dad priority score, but asterisks, only at a discount. Star Wars Outlaws did not deserve your time at launch. That truth has not changed. What has changed is this. If you waited, you were right. And now, for the right price, you might finally be rewarded for that patience. Not because the game is great, but because it finally stopped wasting your time. If you value honest takes like this, stick around. Like, sub, or do not. No pressure. Just know this. Waiting sometimes wins.